Welcome to another episode of Houston's About to Buy Some Dumb Shit. This is Tony.
This is Houston, your host, the general of buying dumb shit.
And we're here to talk about something very expensive today, okay? This is the most expensive, stupid purchase of my life. Now, I haven't bought this car yet, but we're here to talk about it. If you guys are familiar, it's a very small amount of time this car was actually on the internet. It really didn't go viral. Bugatti put a lid on it quickly.
Very quickly.
There was a red Chiron in Florida that probably a jealous adversary threw a Molotov cocktail at this car.
You gotta be pretty jealous to do that.
It's really crazy. Like, I mean, imagine just lighting a bottle of alcohol on fire with a rag in it and throwing it at a Chiron. There was a relatively famous hip hop star that owned this vehicle, and he must have just had some really big enemies because they hate his car. So they destroyed it.
It was Deontay Wilder.
Right hand by Fury against Corvette.
All right, guys, the biggest fight of the year is here again, and these two giants are going at it for a third time. You have Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3 here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we are super invested in this fight. Not only are we, but so are our guys at mybookie.ag. Before we start, before you even place a bet with mybookie.ag, they will double your deposit. So that's dollar for dollar, the best thing that can happen. Dollar for dollar, plus an additional $25 signing bonus. Last time these two guys fought, Tyson Fury won by knockout, and that's gonna be a beautiful bet to look at on mybookie.ag. So Tyson Fury via knockout is the way to go this time. Personally speaking, because we're so heavily invested in this fight, our sources think between the rounds of 7 and 9, Fury's gonna get the knockout. The cool thing about mybookie.ag is you are able to bet on those groups. Now, if you wanna book or bet on group 1 through 4 for an early knockout in a different direction, feel free. mybookie.ag has your back on that. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna use promo code ROYALTY when you're signing up on mybookie.ag to get double the deposit and your $25 signing bonus. mybookie.ag, promo code ROYALTY. Get it done.
Bam. Bam. Punch out. You sausage! You sausage!
It was on the internet for just a few seconds. Mario has a clip of it. We've saved it, so we've got some of the fire on there. It's mostly the aftermath. But now the car, and I've been following you guys immediately. Like when this happened, okay? I mean, the video was up for 30 seconds. I knew exactly where that car was. I knew exactly where it went to. I was trying to get this car as fast as possible before it went to Copart. But get ready for it. The insurance company valued the car at $3.5 million, and they deemed the car such a total loss that it doesn't, now that they're selling it, it will not have a salvage or rebuild title. It will have a parts only title. This means that it's basically for dismantling, okay? So parts only title, that's absolutely insane. That means the vehicle is never to be on the road again, but they valued the parts only Bugatti at over $1.2 million. So
That's the first time I'm hearing that number. So
I respectfully declined to buy the car in its current condition. Now the car used to look just like this, and so I got this really nice model out here, so I could kind of reference. I mean, I'm looking at pictures of it right now in Copart, and Tony, I don't know if you've seen these, but just go ahead and look at those. This car had the alcohol bottle thrown in this area right here.
Yeah.
So this fender burned, this windshield is destroyed, all the mechanisms underneath the windshield, which is the top of the dash, the air conditioner blower, what else is up there? Well, you can see the inside of the trunk, right? That's all destroyed. But there's a lot of wiring in this area, right? I have recent experience with replacing a complete wiring harness on a Veyron.
Surprise.
And this car has a lot of wiring up here. The headlight is destroyed. This is actually one piece, so there's no bumper on the car. The fender is actually the front of the car as well. So this is a single piece. This piece is well over $100,000 to replace, just that one body part. Each light is $35,000. I've never priced the hood, but I can imagine that they're all within respective values of probably $30,000 to $40,000. Everything on a Chiron's carbon. So just to give you guys an example, I mean, the body on a Veyron, right? I recently acquired one that had a spare body to it, and that body is over $250,000, and the Veyron body is not as sophisticated as the Chiron. So we have this particular car. It needs a door, window, this panel. It needs the wheel, which is about $25,000. It needs the brake rotor, the brake disc, the wire harness for the front. Now I have no clue what that wire harness costs. I can guess that we're talking in the realm of $80,000. That's kind of my guess. The real issue is I can't show you from this model, but basically right here, there is a shock tower that's part of the tub. And that is claimed to be destroyed. And this is the reason why we went parts only. They went parts only, not myself. And so they don't think that the weight of the vehicle can be supported from the area where the shock is mounted. So you must be thinking, why the hell would I want to buy this car if all these issues exist, right? It's because I actually have a 3D scan of the Bugatti tub, and I think I can fix this car. And if I can't, well, I'll have a pretty nice showpiece, I guess.
Got a bunch of parts.
Got a bunch of cool parts. So maybe the next year run that goes down, hopefully it'll be in a rear end collision instead of a front end one. But this car really intrigues me, right? And I know you guys haven't seen it yet, but replacing all the pieces on the water car, I call it the scuba car, gave me a lot of confidence. Now, the scuba car is in 100% working order, and I'm very, very excited about that. We're almost done filming the entire series of that rebuild, and I really cannot wait to share it with you because it's a
very cool car.
It's pretty exciting.
It's beautiful. It's probably the most beautiful Veyron that I've ever seen.
It's definitely the most beautiful Veyron in the world. I mean, with respect to every Veyron that Bugatti spec'd, I killed it. Like, it just looks so cool, and it's got some modifications to it. So it's a little Houston, it's a little Bugatti. It's got a perfect balance.
It's
right.
It's a shell of Bugatti with a lot of Houston on it.
Yeah, it's great.
That's exactly what it is.
I love that. So look, Tony, these pictures right here, you notice the interior,
yes.
right? So the interior is another issue. Now, can you guess what a Chiron driver's seat costs?
$75,000.
Wow, you're actually really close.
Really?
It's like 80 grand.
Oh, I was gonna go with 80.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I would have guessed like 15.
No, see, the crazy thing is I have experience with Bugatti parts, so.
Anyways, yeah, the driver's seat is burned. It's a carbon shell. So the dash and all of the interior is covered in fire retardant.
Yeah.
I'm very worried about the electronics right there. I don't believe fire retardant needs to go into electronic devices, but it's kind of rough. So the point of making this video is to kind of figure out what value do I really assess this car, right? Obviously it's not $1 million, it's not even close to $1 million. With the parts only title, I would say it's worth 10% of its original value, right? Being that the parts are useless because nobody's out there trying to buy a Chiron engine, right? I mean, who's gonna Chiron swap their Gallardo?
Yeah.
Right? No, nobody.
Enough space.
You don't actually. That motor is the size of the Gallardo actually. But yeah, I mean, what would you do with this car, Tony, if I decided to get it and it was unrepairable?
Unrepairable. We'd probably put it in the most ridiculous place we could find.
Yeah, like the middle of a casino floor.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would probably not leave it there fire damaged. Obviously, we could probably replace the fender, the door, the window. I mean, I wouldn't even replace the glass because I would hate to keep the windows down.
Exactly.
But I do think that it's actually a pretty cool opportunity for us. I'm hoping that I can win this auction. Now, I don't know how many people out there want to rebuild a car like this. If anybody's watching this video and you want to bid on it, I just want to forewarn you, Bugatti does not sell these parts. I had to go through every hoop, jump through every you have no idea what it took for me to get the parts
Very long.
for the Veyron. It took me 2 years. 2 years. Every time I buy a part from Bugatti, I have to sign off that it's my problem if it doesn't work.
Yep.
There's no warranty, there's no help, there's nothing. And that's cool, right? I had a lot of confidence in the Veyron because the Veyron's from 2006, right? That's the original part of the Veyron. So the technology behind it isn't heavily computer based,
Yeah.
right? So, think of the Murcielago Gallardo era. Volkswagen had a lot of similarities. There is a lot of parts on the Veyron that are very similar to other vehicles in that generation. Chiron's totally different.
Yeah.
The Chiron is a one-off car. That's the beauty of the Chiron. That's why they're 3.5 million compared to 1.5 to 1.2 million dollar Veyron, right?
Yeah.
This car is a complete tech advanced, beautiful car that has absolutely one-off parts out of the entire thing. So I'm a little nervous about it, but I do think that it's possible to fix this. So if anybody's watching this wants to bid on this car, it's on Copart. I do think that the car should be about $350,000, right? I mean, I think that that's a fair price for the car. I don't think I'm gonna pay much more than that because I know what I'm getting myself into. What do you think?
I think that's about fair just because you're not going to be able to title the car.
Well, you're not gonna be able to drive it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna it's parts only. Yeah.
So if you're looking to, nobody out there is crazy enough, aside from you, to
But
bid on the
yeah,
car, not drive it, and
Yeah, I mean, we have a different ulterior motive, right?
Yeah.
We could use it as a display inside of a
but like I
beautiful
said,
casino, right?
Who in their right mind, aside from you,
I mean, I would think that a very wealthy person would want to take this car, make the engine a display, right? Like, the engine's kind of worthless because it doesn't fit in anything else. And actually, I was considering if Chiron swap my Veyron, but it doesn't work. I mean, it's a totally different design. It looks similar, but it's not. Like, the rear tub and all that stuff, the body, it's all designed different. But essentially, this car is worth a display, or if someone's stupid lucky and they're able to source all of the parts, maybe making it like an exoskeleton race car could be a possibility, but that's $1 million, man. I mean, by the time you add up all these parts, I'm down to spend $1 million to see if I can make some crazy one-off car, right? But I have the 2 other Bugattis now that I can reference. I've got scans, I've got suspension, I've got so many spare parts for the Bugatti that I know that I could reuse those and make it work, and I'm fairly confident in that, but I would be...
For anyone else, it'd be very tough.
Yeah.
It'd be almost impossible, you'd say, right?
To give you reference, the scuba car sat unfinished, unfixed. It was
Untouched aside
attempted
from paint, correct?
It was attempted to be repaired by 5 people before I bought this car. 5 people tried to fix this car. Okay, 5. That's more than 4. It's more than 3, and that's definitely more than like 1. So 5 people tried to fix this car before I got it.
2010, right?
Around 2010, 2020.
Till
10
years.
years.
So on average,
Nobody could fix it. Nobody. And it didn't even come close. Like, no one even pulled the motor out of the car. They didn't even get to that point, right? So when I got the car, it was like semi-assembled, right? Like, they had no interior in it because the interior was gone. I luckily had a spare interior sitting in my office over here. But no one had even come close to being anywhere close. I mean, the flywheel, the timing chains and all that, not the timing chains, what is that thing called? I'm not a mechanic, guys. Anyways, the timing device that's in between the engine and the gearbox had so much rust on it that the entire motor had to be pulled apart.
It still had sand in it.
It's sand. It was
Everything
sand
still had
inside
sand.
of in between of the engine. Now, the engine itself was okay, right? There was no issues because there was no water in the air intakes from the top of the car. So that was okay. But like the turbos, the exhaust, and all that stuff was destroyed, right? I mean, the only thing that was actually really good was anything that was carbon fiber, anything that was titanium, right? Which is the majority of the mechanical components, and the engine and gearbox itself were sealed. They were safe.
Engine cleaned up really well.
Yeah, everything was good on that. But other than that, it was all, I replaced the whole thing.
Yep.
All the pieces, every body panel, all of that. It's all new. So with all that being said, I feel like this car is going to be of equal complication. Although the engine physically is okay, that's actually not half the problem. I mean, you can't really get the car to turn on when you have all these other issues up here.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll see. I do believe that this is going to be one hell of a project if anybody else gets it. And I hope that someone like Tavares or, I don't know, maybe Ed Bullion, or I'm not sure. I mean, there's kind of
selling his entire fleet.
Yeah, which is really weird. There would be no way that he would be wanting to buy this car. Like, this car, he could do 2 of his cars to pay for this car. I mean, I saw Ed's entire list was like more than 1.5 million, right? At that point, just buy a regular Chiron, like, and just drive it, enjoy it. You know, buying this car would be absolutely insane. And I don't wish that project upon anybody. So, and I love Freddie. Freddie's a great guy. Ed's a great guy. All those guys. Tyler's cool. They all came down here and they saw the Veyron in the midst of what I had taken it apart. I don't think that the 3 of them realized that the difficulty level of fixing a Bugatti and what you have to go through with corporate to get the physical parts, right?
Yeah.
Like, I went to France. Like, this is a really big thing. Like, you guys, I'm telling you, it's a huge thing to do. Take a bite off that. But I was told that Bugatti is after this car as well.
That's also another reason why I was going to say that I think Bugatti's going to make it very, very hard for anyone to touch this car.
I think Bugatti is going to be the strongest bidder on this car. I think that they don't want this car. They don't want this engine to end up in, you know, some rice rocket or something like that. Imagine. you couldn't, but imagine you built like this, like, Bugatti, like,
I can't even think of anything big enough to.
yeah, I know, it's so
like,
big. You'd have to, like, Chiron swap your S-Class.
Yeah.
You know? It just doesn't make sense, like, your Bentayga.
Yeah.
Or your Cullinan, you know? You have that engine bay, like, so big. This engine is massive. It weighs, like, 1,200 kilos. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, when it's all there and said, I mean, you guys should see it. It's like the size of a physical Mini Cooper. So, well, guys, wish us luck. We'll be actively bidding on this, and we'll give you an update on this car if we get closer to being able to purchase it. If it goes over my number, I wouldn't even be close to interested because I don't want to be bankrupt, and I don't want to have a car that's worthless and just sitting there for no reason. So I hope it doesn't go crazy, and a lot of people aren't too ostentatious with their bids, but wish us luck.